One of the most interesting and overlooked arcade games I played when I was younger was Gate of Doom, a two-player isometric dungeon crawler with a fantasy vibe. Released in 1990 by Data East, it offered a super unique experience for the time. That game was pretty overshadowed by a lot of other stuff, so I was especially surprised when I heard it received a sequel in 1992 called Wizard Fire. Another fantasy dungeon crawler arcade? Sign me up! There just weren't that many of them, and it definitely made an even bigger impression on me than Gates of Doom did. Like the first, you have your choice of characters, each of which have different strengths and weaknesses. The knight is a straight-up warrior of sorts and attacks with a spinning flail. The wizard has the greatest magic abilities. The elf is a quick swordsman that can shoot projectiles. The bard is a fighter that wields a pike. And finally there's the dwarf, a physical fighter that throws an axe. Some characters can also use a different type of attack by tapping the attack button. For instance, the bard will thrust his pike in multiple directions, and the elf will do a sword attack in a frontal cone. I absolutely love the fact that unlike many games, each character wasn't just a simple reskin of the others. They each had tangible differences that changed the way you played. Wizard Fire features two-player simultaneous gameplay as well, so this is a great one to play with a friend. One of the best aspects is that when you die, you can also change your character so you aren't locked into a single archetype for the whole game. That's a really nice feature, and I wish more games of this kind did it back then. The main objective is to fight your way through several isometric stages where you face off against skeletons, zombies, goblins, gargoyles, and other monsters. Some of the enemies take a lot more hits to destroy than others, so in some way it actually plays a little like a beat 'em up. There are lots of hidden treasures and boxes you can smash to collect various items. Some of them give you hit points, build up your magic gauge, or serve as power-ups that are displayed near your character portrait. One thing about Wizard Fire that just can't be ignored is the voice acting. Like its predecessor, Wizard Fire illustrates the advancement of the story in corny scenes where the voice acting, let's just say, stands out. But don't take my word for it, here's some choice cuts so you know what I mean.
Looks like full of dark work. This town is beautiful. Not anymore, Russia's dark hole. What is that? The enemy's castle. So, do we go in? No, Dave. We'll use magic. Oh, the Cave of Akbar. There's an icon inside which will transport us. Let's go.
And hey, if your laughing hasn't already obscured it, the background music that plays while the voice clips do certainly will. The muffled clips almost seem like they belong to another universe now, but back then when arcades used audio that was worse than CD quality, I guess it was actually pretty good. The story takes place in 355 AD, where your adversaries plan to take innocent lives, precisely 101 for some reason, to unlock a dragon shrine and raise an army of the dead. It's the opposite of creative, but the corniness works wonders for a game like this. If you like cheesy fantasy humor like me, you'll certainly get a kick out of it too. The magic system in Wizard Fire is a little unconventional. Your standard attacks build up a gauge at the bottom of the screen, and while gameplay transpires, the spellbook rotates between different spells. When you hit your magic spell button, the spell that gets unleashed is the one that's currently pictured there, so you either have to time it perfectly or wing it when you feel desperate. Also, let's say some of the spell effects are super odd. One of them changes you into a giant Icarus that shoots lightning all over the screen, and another turns you into a tornado that can be just used to roll through enemies. One of the spells even transforms you into a treasure chest that spits items you can pick up. There's a lot of random craziness thrown in for good measure, and no two playthroughs are ever the same. This was pretty fun. The bosses in this game are really on another level when it comes to quarter munching. Some of the early ones aren't too bad, but as you progress, you can find others that are so powerful, you just get wiped out right away in a single attack. For instance, this wizard is really, really rough, and the orbs and fireballs it shoots at you just erase your character. Also, the boss battles last a long time, and they take a huge number of hits to take down. They're much, much beefier than almost any other arcade game I've ever seen or played. The other big annoyance are the status ailments, like confusion, which actually reverses your controls. Yikes! The saving grace is that 3 characters have immunities to certain status effects though, so you can play around it to an extent. The Knight was probably my favorite character because I liked how his weapon could hit things in a radius, and his attack worked quite a bit differently than the other characters. If you like this style of game, this is one of the best you can play. If you haven't tried it before, fire it up on MAME and give it a go. It's by far one of the most underappreciated arcade games I've ever played. I rarely see anyone mention or talk about it, and that's a true shame. There are some minor annoyances like the status effects and grueling length of the boss encounters, but overall it's a really fun experience. Embrace the fantasy cheesiness, because it really works well in this game. For anyone that thinks otherwise, well...
We will make them pay!
So I want to hear from you guys down in the comments. If you have not played Wizard Fire, tell me what looks interesting about the game to you. And if you have played Wizard Fire, let me know what you remember about it. If you enjoy my content, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to my channel and click the bell below to be alerted upon the addition of new videos. Also, please join my Discord community linked in the description, and consider supporting my channel via YouTube's Join feature to receive member exclusives, such as advanced videos and complete video transcripts.